The next family that we're going to hear from is the family of Private First Class Corey Claggett, by far the youngest and most junior of the Leavenworth 10. He had only been in the Army for 10 months before he was deployed to Iraq. And 8 months into that deployment, he was arrested and charged with murder for following orders to kill 3 al-Qaeda operatives. He was, his trial was one of the most gross miscarriages of justice, with his attorney abandoning him on the eve of the trial. And the worst part of all is that he's been held in solitary confinement for 4 years. These are the men who step up every single day, and this is how our country is treating them. He's got a new attorney, and he's fighting for his freedom. He went before the Army Clemency and Parole Board in June, but he was summarily denied. He's currently appealing to the Secretary of the Army. And if you go to any website, including the Army website, you can get a message to the Secretary of the Army, and you ought to tell him what you think about this.
My name is Tim Perlatore, and I'm the attorney representing Corey Claggett. This is his family, his mother, Melanie Dianiska, and his younger brother, Joey. Now, Corey was a squad member of Bill Hunsaker, so I'm not going to retell the story that you just heard Fran tell so well. But I do want to talk about what the Army has done to him since then. When he was arrested, he was put into a prison in Kuwait where he was terribly mistreated. He was kept awake. They had 24-hour bright lights. They made him sleep, chained in the fetal position. They withheld food from him for days. This is before he was even convicted. Since that time, the past 4 years, he's been in solitary confinement over in Fort Leavenworth. When I went to see him yesterday, they brought him out, his feet chained together, his arms chained to his side. All he did was he followed an order. Now, we went before the Army Clemency and Parole Board back in June, and we made an argument. He's serving an 18-year sentence, and he did take responsibility for his actions. He followed an order, he killed 3 al-Qaeda operatives, he took responsibility, and he even went as far as to help the government and try and testify against those who gave him the orders. And the person who gave him the orders is free today. He's still in solitary confinement. Now, in defending him, I spoke with his commanding officer, and his commanding officer, who was initially very much against him, actually turned around, changed his mind, and wrote a letter on Corey's behalf. And I'd like to read to you a part of it. This is from Colonel Michael Steele. He says, we're writing to the Clemency and Parole Board, I hope that the board can view his conduct through the eyes of an infantry soldier walking the streets of Iraq, a soldier who is perplexed that every Iraqi injury or death was reported and exhaustively investigated, while no inquiry is made when an American was brutally killed. I hope that you can understand a soldier's frustration in seeing those Iraqis responsible for the deaths of American soldiers being routinely released from jail. And as his commander, it is clear that Corey's crime was born of frustration and desperation from failed policies, not a desire to commit murder. Given that Corey's squad leader, the widely recognized instigator of this crime, has since been paroled, it is in the interest of justice that Corey's sentence be adjusted. Given the time he has already served, there should be no concern that justice has been served. It has. Now, I presented that to the board, and while it takes them normally 2 weeks to deliberate on whether to grant somebody clemency, they had a decision that afternoon denying clemency in its entirety. When I went and asked them for the reasons, I filed a Freedom of Information Act request to get what their reasons are, and I'm going to show you right now what they gave me. They blacked them out. Why is the Army willing to keep him in jail and not willing to say why? Now, we have a website, CoreyClaggett.com. You can read our entire brief of everything we submitted to the board. We submitted this huge document here, which, by the way, the vast majority of this document is letters from people like you, probably many of you out here in the crowd today, writing letters begging for Corey to be released. All of it fell on deaf ears. Right now, we are appealing to the Secretary of the Army. We are considering bringing this into federal court. We are considering all options because he needs to be released. Now, his mother, Melanie, would like to just say a couple of words to you as well.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It surely has helped my spirits and given me hope that there are people that do care. But I remember when Corey joined the service, he had a delayed entry program. So he had just turned 20. I was ready to take him to the station with his recruiter where he was going to get on the bus. And Corey says, "Mom, you got to let me go. I'm grown. I don't need you to take me. I'll say goodbye here." And he had the recruiter come to the house to pick him up. When I waved goodbye to my son in the car, I never imagined in a million years that my son could have come home in this way. He could have come home in a coffin and been presented with an award and given me a flag and been called a hero. Well, he is a hero. And he is alive. And he bleeds like you and I. He fought for us. Please fight for him. Thank you.
Regardless of what he did, he's still a hero to me. He was just following orders. And it's like he's been locked up for 51 months in solitary confinement.
Did you ever get to see him or anything?
I haven't seen my brother in 1,500 days.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm a mother with a son, and I cannot even imagine this unimaginable pain. But I have to fight for these moms and these families, just as I have to fight for the men who are imprisoned, because it takes a tremendous amount of bravery to withstand this kind of pressure. Next, we're going to hear from the family of Sergeant Michael Leahy, who joined the Army in May of 2003 after graduating basic training in the top 10% of his class. You see this recurring theme of all of these heroes who did not just what they had to do, but went beyond. Michael went on to medic training in Texas, and by the winter of 2003, he was stationed in Germany and deployed twice to Iraq, from February 2004 to February of 2005, and again from August 2006 to November of 2007, totaling 27 months of his life. During those deployments, he earned multiple Army Commendation Medals, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. Sergeant Leahy is not eligible for another clemency hearing until 2011 because of the length of his sentence. Again, a total miscarriage of justice. And now, Mrs. Jamie Leahy and the family.
I come out here to tell you about my son. He grew up with a lot of determination and a lot of, I don't know what you would call it right now because I can't think. But he did well in school. He excelled in school. He made honor roll. He made the dean's list. He was in Illinois State when 9/11 took place. He wanted to do something for his country, so he joined. I've always called my son Mickey, and that's what he was to me, my little boy. When he joined the Army, he became a man, and now it's Mike. But it's still hard for me to say Mike to him, and I've always called him Mickey. He did well. He became a medic, which surprised me so much. He always passed out at the sight of blood when he was little. His grandfather was a diabetic, so I often took him for tests to make sure he didn't have it. And he would pass out as soon as they took blood. But he's a wonderful son. He's excelled in being a medic. I've heard so many soldiers tell me this. I want my son home. I want him home. I love him. I know his family loves him. So, and I'm grateful for every one of you people out here today. The ride was really awesome to me, and I know he would be proud, because I'm proud to be an American, and I know he is.
My name is Jamie Leahy. I'm Michael's wife. I just wanted to let you know, you heard Michael was a combat medic. He took care of everybody out there. He took care of his soldiers, and he took care of the Iraqi citizens, any of the people that they detained. He took care of them all the same. He gave them his best medical treatment that he could. And he was also the kind of medic that would run into a building after it was bombed. He was the kind of, he did everything he could to save everybody, his soldiers, just to get them back to the doctors that they had there, to the hospitals from the battlefield. So that was what he did while he was in the Army, and I just wanted to let you know also right now, he's working very hard towards having a bright future. He's doing everything he can with everything that's available to him at the USDB right now. He's in a barbershop training program so that he's getting skills of something that he can use towards our future so that we can have a family someday and take care of them and provide for them. He's also working towards a personal trainer certification, and he's taking college classes to get his associate's degree, and then in the future he'll go on to get his bachelor's degree. So I just wanted to let you know that he's working really hard and he's keeping himself really busy because he is hoping to have a bright future and be a productive citizen for our country. So he's our hero. Thank you.